Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from and who do it well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. And to you I say shalom. Coming to you back on another lesson through the Spirit. And I'm entitled this one, Once the oil and gas runs out, it's over. Once the supply of oil, gas, petroleum, diesel, along with all the essential goods that are transported through the Strait of Hormuz, once those last shipments, those last cargo ships that have all the barrels of oil, along with the other goods that make the world go around, ultimately that oil, that diesel being the bloodline of America, Babylon the Great, by the way of its logistics, that it allows these distribution centers and these docks at the coast, the East Coast, the West Coast, so on and so forth, that allows these 18-wheelers to move throughout the country and deliver those essential goods. Because that's the way that the grocery stores, the retail stores, all the major box stores get their goods, is by the way of these 18-wheelers. But once those companies start shutting down, starting with the small companies, the owner-operator companies that own anywhere between a truck, 2 trucks, 5 trucks, 10 trucks, those are the first ones that are going to be shut down, because they're not going to be able to afford that cost of diesel being 5 times the price of what it is now, because it's already at $5 here in Texas, $6 in other states. Once it gets to that $6.50, that $7 mark, is wraps. These companies aren't going to pay more than what they're gonna profit to be able to transport these goods, and eventually it's going to shut everything down. Once these 18-wheelers, these trucks, aren't moving like they're used to moving, that's going to lead to these grocery stores, these pharmacies, along with all the essential, from the power plants, the water processing plants, because all that relies on electricity. And if there's no oil, there's no gas, there's no petroleum, there's no fertilizer, that's going to lead to all hell breaking loose. It's going to lead to famine. It's going to lead to pestilence, because all that sewer water is not getting treated. But ultimately, this is the times that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai spoke way back during the time of the ancient prophets of Isaiah, Ezekiel, and warns about to let these plagues upon the planet Earth let loose, especially here in America, Babylon the Great, where these people have dwelt without care, been at peace and safety, like it says in the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, that the situation with the Strait of Hormuz is not going to affect anything. They're about to be sadly mistaken, because it's all a controlled demolition to bring in that great reset, that new world order, to do away with the dollar, do away with all these people's bank account savings and start stock market portfolios, cryptocurrency portfolios, and even the gold and silver. Because the only way that you're going to be able to access the new digital currency, the CBDC, is going to be by having that MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is going to be an RFID microchip. This is Isaiah 19 and verse 15. It says, "Neither shall there be any work For Egypt, which the head or tail, branch, or rush may do. And this is talking about this modern day Egypt, spiritual Egypt, like it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. And that word Egypt going into meaning double straits. This is where the bulk of the tribes of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans are serving that last captivity, that last slavery, being under these heathen nations. But ultimately, before the deliverance of the elect of the 144,000 comes to pass, Egypt has to fall. Just like the ancient Egypt, they got plagued by the locusts, by the rivers, the waters turning into blood, and then that last plague being the death of the firstborn. And just like Yahweh Bashim Shai bankrupt, collapsed that ancient Egypt, that's what he's doing to Babylon the Great, which is America. Mystery Babylon is being plagued the same way. You got farmers going broke because they're not able to afford the fertilizer. They're not able to afford the goods that they needed to run their farm, their business. So what is that leading to? That's leading to famine. But ultimately, that's what these wicked elite banking families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, this is what they want up on the planet Earth, is chaos. Because for them to be able to bring that order, there has to be chaos. That order out of chaos. So all this AI replacing jobs, automation replacing jobs, people getting laid off left and right, white-collar jobs, blue-collar jobs, transportation jobs, is all by design, because these elite banking families, Esau, Edom, which are the self-proclaimed white people, they want to fully put that squeeze on these people to the point where they're going to beg for a solution, because it's going to be so bad. There's not going to be any food. There's not going to be any work. So these people are going to be bound to their knees for a solution. And what's going to be that solution? That mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, Esau, Edom offering that high universal basic income to the point where, okay, you take this chip, you can have this amount of credits every month. And this is why this whole Strait of Hormuz situation is dragging. So it could just destroy the economy that was already hanging on by a thread. This is Ecclesiastes because of inflation. And all inflation is not that the price of goods is going up because it's going up in value. No, it's the value of the dollar going down. That's why you got to pay more, to the point where it's shrinkflation. You're paying more, but you're receiving less, because people don't have it like they used to. They're having to get 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet, just to pay rent. Some people can't even pay their rent. They gotta either keep the lights on, they gotta pay their rent to have a roof over their heads, or they gotta pay for food. But this squeeze is by design, so these people could be begging for a solution, so they could be begging for that MOTB, and that's what it's gonna come to. It says, and those that look out the windows be darkened. These Americans know, they're starting to find out they've been duped into thinking that if you work hard, you can get the American dream. You go to college, you graduate, you get a good paying job. Right after you graduate, those days are gone. People with college degrees are graduating with a 4-year degree, applying to fast foods restaurants, but they're not getting a call back, because people, these businesses, these corporations, right now, they're not in the time of hiring, promoting. No, they're in the time of laying people off left and right. And ultimately, it all goes back to that greed that Esau Edom has, that insatiable appetite. It shouldn't be like that. Here you have all these investors of these top 54 companies, They're making $1 million bonuses. They're making millions off the stock market. But yet, the average person, the average Joe, is struggling to make ends meet. So this system was designed to keep the people down. It wasn't meant for them to thrive and have generational wealth. No, that was all a farce to fool the people into buying into this system, this fiat currency system. You work, you got to pay taxes. You go to the store, you got to pay taxes. You pay your house off, you pay your mortgage off. You still got to pay property taxes. So ultimately, it don't matter what you pay off. You still got to pay taxes to the devil, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. And these people are bugging out, crashing out, talking about all I do is live to work, work. But that's because they were they were fooled by their own nation, because they hoarded up that blessing to themselves. So these average Edomite, Joe Six-Pack Edomite, they know that this place is through. The only ones who are still trying to buy into the system and build a life here is the 2/3 of our people. They still looking out the windows and think that, oh man, this place, it's going to heal, it's going to bounce back. Gas is going to go back down, but it's not. It's only going to get worse on from this point for this world. It says, verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And this is what's happening. The doors are being shut in the streets because people don't have like that. That's why you have all these restaurants, bars, music venues shutting down. You got rappers, R&B singers, artists, even movies. They're not selling tickets like they used to because people aren't in that spirit of, oh, let's have a good old time. Even though people still go out, but really they're trying to force it. They're trying to get that spirit of mirth back, that 1999 spirit back, but bounce back. That's why it's to the point where all these music artists, these movie directors, producers, they ran out of ideas. They're just recycling the same material, making remakes out of remakes because Yahweh Bashmiel Shai has taken a mirth, the spirit, because he's about to destroy it. He's about to bring it down along with Esau, Edom. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. So this whole Babylonian wine, you go to school, you get a job, you get a degree, you meet your sweetheart in college and get married, have kids, you buy the white picket fence house, you buy the family SUV, the dog, you go on vacation 2 times a week. That's over with. That's through. People can't afford vacations no more. They can't afford to travel. People are taking their PTO, their vacation time, to sleep in because of how burnt out they are of working all these hours just to make ends meet. And these people are complaining, like, for what? Here we are busting our ass, but prices are constantly going up. Rent is going up. But these are only the beginning of sorrows. It's only going to get worse. So all these people bugging out, crying out right now, eventually reality is really going to kick in. Once that famine hits, once those pestilences really, like that devil that killed Gates said, the next one's going to get your attention. These Edomites, they're not done. They're only at the beginning stages of coming down with that great wrath. It says verse 8. So all this parties, mirth, at the clubs, that's all coming to an end. The only ones who are still trying to be in that spirit, is our people. Jake, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. But even Jake is complaining about, oh man, the club is whack now. It ain't what it used to be. Because the Lord is shutting this thing down. He's bringing this place, America, Babylon the Great. He's bringing the kingdom of Esau, Edom down, because he's about to collapse this system. He's about to collapse this economy to make way for the new world order. It says, verse 9, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. And you just had that article about how people are drinking less because it doesn't hit the same. It's all poison. It gives you hangovers. It messes up your health, your sleep. So these people are like, man, to hell with this alcohol. It's not hitting like it used to, because the Lord is taking the mirth out of America, Babylon the Great. So all these people trying to escape reality by going to the club every day, going out on a cruise, on a vacation to escape reality. Very soon they're not going to be able to do that. When all these restaurants, these bars, these liquor stores, these grocery stores get shut down, then these people are going to be wishing, that they had a glass of wine, a shot of strong drink. Because what's the first place that people break into in those apocalyptic movies? Is the grocery stores, the pharmacies, the liquor stores. But even then, that's not going to be able to give them that comfort. The only thing that's going to comfort, these the times we're already in now, but especially in the upcoming times, a time like no other, an understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, like it says in the book of Isaiah 33 and verse 6. That's that true wine that's really going to bring that comfort, not this Babylonian wine. This is American dream and you get rich or die trying. That's all done away with. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. And all these businesses are closing left and right because these foreigners that came over here to get a bag, to get rich, they see that this place is crumbling. You had the Palantir CEO pack his bags and move to Argentina. Just like in that movie, Leave the World Behind. People were, that actor, the lead actor knew that was plugged in. They knew that all hell was about to break loose. So they were telling him, hey, all shit's about to hit the fan. We about to leave this, leave that. And this is why you see all these businesses closing left and right. Because, when Esau is in the know, they know that this place is done, that it's through, that all hell is about to break loose. Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And this is what's happening. The mirth of the land is being wiped away. So what are people about to do once the famine of the word hits, when his word stops going out throughout the four corners of the earth? People are going to be looking for answers, crying for that wine in the streets. They're going to be looking for the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But the only ones who are going to find it are going to be the remnant, the elect, the 144,000. Those who got into the spiritual ark before all hell. The rest of these people, the 2/3 of our people, they're in that spirit of mirth, spirit of partying, thinking that nothing's ever going to happen. And that day, that's when they're going to be looking for the truth. They're going to be looking for answers, man. Like, why is this happening? Why is gas $30? Why is a loaf of bread $200? Because it was all by design, because this system, this monetary system, this petrodollar system, it's about to be done away with. And that new digital currency, it's about to be implemented. And Esau, Edom, is going to use his sword, the famine, pestilence, whatever he sees fit, to get these people to comply and to bow the knee to this new world order, to take the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, This is revelation, a day's worth of wages, because that's what people in the ancient Roman Empire, the Roman soldiers, that's what they got paid. They got paid a penny a day, But the average pay today in this American system, this American economy, is about anywhere between 150, 200, 250, 300, $400. But that's how much it's going to be for a loaf of bread, because Edom is going to use that to get these people to comply to his new world order, because that's what's going to hurt these Americans, these Babylonians, is going to be the lack of bread. Because as long as these Americans have entertainment, Netflix, McDonald's, Starbucks, BET, they're not worried about the Strait of Hormuz. They don't care. In their mind, if you ask the average in the empire what the Strait of Hormuz is, they probably wouldn't even be able to tell you what it is or what it means, or do you even know? You can ask them a question. Do you even know that the U.S. is at war with Iran? Man, they're not even going to be able to answer, because majority of our people, they're in that spirit of deep slumber. They're in the spirit of eating, drinking, giving into marriage. That's why majority of our people are going to get night, because right now they think that, we good, nothing's ever going to happen. But like it says right here, 2nd Ezra 16 and verse, behold, victuals, meaning the essential goods, your food, water, your beef, chicken, says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So this is why majority of our people, these Americans, they're not in that docile state of mind, because they're still able to go to the grocery store, get them a cart full of groceries. So in their mind, they think, we good. The Strait of Hormuz, man, look at this. Shelves are still packed with Pop-Tarts and hot Cheetos, the ravioli. We good, Nothing's ever going to happen. But like it says right here, 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's how it's going to happen. It's going to happen overnight. Once these 18-wheelers stop transporting all the rap, because that's how quick it's going to change. Once these companies said, okay, we're halting, we're halting our transportation. We're not going to be able to afford transporting these goods like we're used to. It's going to lead to a lack of bread, because the grocery store only holds 3 to 4 days supply worth of food. And once all these people that go to these grocery stores, looted it out, along with the pharmacies, the liquor stores, then it's going to lead to people going from house to house, going into like that purge-like scenario, going from house to house, offing people for the lack of bread, offing people just because. It says verse 22, 2nd Ezra 16 and 20. A lot of people are going to perish of famine. They're going to starve to death. They're going to result to cannibalism. And those who get to the point where, they can't take it anymore, they're going to take that MOTB, that RFID microchip, to be able to have access to those, like in the movie Snowpiercer, those mush down protein bug bars. It says, and the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. So some of the first people that are going to get a visit by these marauders, by these looters, and ultimately a lot of these doomsday preppers, even those who aren't in the limelight, they may not have a YouTube channel, they're just working behind the scenes. Really, they're preparing provisions for. I'm gonna get it real quick. This is Isaiah 65 and verse 13, it says, therefore said the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So all these doomsday preppers that are, just preparing these lavish bunkers with years worth of supply of food and water, entertainment, that's for the remnant of the elect. That's for the hopeful elect. That's not for these doomsday preppers, because they don't even know if they're going to be near their bunker, near their homestead during that time. Just like in that movie, Leave the World Behind, when that girl stumbled upon that house with that bunker that had all the goods. That's how it's going to be for the remnant of the elect. Like in that movie, The Road, when the father and the child stumbled upon that bunker and had goods and Jack Daniels. That's how it's going to be for the remnant of the elect. But for the rest of these people, like it says right here in verse 14, Isaiah 65 and 14, behold, my servants shall rejoice, or behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart and shall fear. So this is what's coming for these wicked 2/3, these heathens. They think that, oh, we're good, nothing's ever going to happen. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 21. I'm going to get it in the GNT. The time is coming when food will be so cheap that people will think of a time of peace and plenty has arrived. But then disasters will spring up everywhere. Wars, famine, and great confusion. So yeah, right now people think, oh man, got penny burgers, we got free national hot dog day, 2 for $5 chicken, mac chicken, stuff like that. People think that, oh man, we good. I ain't worried about no Strait of Hormuz, no World War III. Not worried about no AI surveillance system. But that's why the 2/3 of our people and these heathens are going to get caught like a thief in the night. We get verse 22. It says, many people on earth will already have the draft or the military age go up to 42 years old. You got people that served in the military getting letters because that World War III is, the World War III goes nuclear before those missiles are implemented. And what better way to bring it than to collapse this system, to collapse this economy by bringing in a famine, bringing in a blackout. To the point where people are going to be like, oh, man, we need a solution. We need a savior. All Edom is brewing behind the scenes is that MOTB, that perfect plan to roll it out throughout the world, but that's knocking at the door. That's, like the apostles and elders, bishops say, it could be months away. They could see it this year, Esau, Edom pushing out that MOTB to the world, because of this whole Strait of Hormuz situation going on. But these 2/3, these heathens, they're through because they don't know what times they're living in. They're not measuring the times diligently. They don't know what the hell is going on, so they're going to get caught off guard. The only ones who are going to be protected from these upcoming plagues and pestilences are the 1/3, their innumerable number. They're the ones. I pray that this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all learned this truth from and will do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.